I'm glued to the stage. We have no mic, but that's all right. I like to move, so we're stuck. All right, so let me introduce myself quickly. I'm going to give you a brief overview of eSpace, what we're doing. I'll give you a little bit about the journey to get there, but our focus at eSpace is on revolutionizing IoT. I'm going to give you a little bit of data on that. But just giving a small background, I started my journey back in early 2000s. I built out the infrastructure in Rwanda after the genocide, put the fiber network in there, and had built out quite a bit of both 3G, first 3G in Africa, and the first fiber to the home in Africa. And from that, I realized that humanity excels with the internet. The people that got access to the internet grew and their whole lives changed. From there, I realized that I didn't have any backhaul to the network, so I built a satellite system to provide that backhaul. When you have a problem, you got to find a solution. My solution, since there was nothing available, was to build 24 satellites that circle the Earth in a company called O3B Networks, which stands for the other 3 billion. That's now part of SES today, the largest satellite operator in Europe. After building and selling it to SES, I started another company, realizing the impact of communications on people's lives, the improvement that it can bring to them, both economically and socially. So I started a company called OneWeb with the goal of bringing connectivity down to a smaller platform, to a terminal that was sizable, that you could carry, bring with you, put on a school, bring to a hospital or a health center. And in partnership now with Autonomous and in the Kingdom, you'll see some of the OneWeb terminals and capabilities out there at the booth. I just happened to walk by and saw them. But a key thing of what we did there was we reinvented satellite, built an entire factory, the world's first to build high volume production of satellites, and that was 30 to 60 satellites a month, that they're producing right now, with over 600 satellites in the sky today. Then, I bought a company, a fledgling startup called Toronto Wireless, where we revolutionized we revolutionized beamforming. And with this non-line of sight beamforming capability, we launched our first system last year. We did over 100 million of revenue last year. We're on track for more than doubling that this year, and providing these devices all over Africa, the US, Mexico, many, many countries right now, running at maximum capacity for the company. And that brings fiber quality connectivity to the home. And that leads me to the thing that is taking all of my time, which is where I'm focused today. eSpace. We're set to revolutionize and focused on revolutionizing the IoT industry, enabling a new form of connectivity to provide high bandwidth capability to devices around the world. We're commercializing access to IoT in unforeseen levels on a global basis. We're building 6,000 satellites in our initial constellation. Today, we have 12 of the world's largest companies already in our customer advisory board, whose businesses will change because of our new IoT solutions that we're developing. They're all leaders in their respective sectors. We've been quietly growing. We're approaching 150 people now, and they're brilliant. And in partnership with the CST here, led by His Excellency Governor, His Excellency Mohammed Al-Tamimi, and His Excellency Minister Al-Swaha, our services will be turned on in the Kingdom and demonstrated here in the coming years. We're also focused on being exemplary stewards of space. So while we're building this mega constellation with smart solutions and communication services, and a lot more to come out about that in the future, we're also focused on how to be sustainable. While we plan on launching a lot of satellites, there's a huge issue for humanity right now with space debris. We're on the precipice of potentially destroying all of our access to space. Because we are littering space. Humanity is littering space with rocket bodies and large, inefficient satellites. Just last week, 2 large rocket bodies came within 6 meters of each other. If they had hit, it could have wiped out our access to space and ruined us on Earth for all our lifetimes. So space is much more fragile than we think, and the design of our satellites is critical to enabling us to and our children to have a future in space. So while we're launching all these satellites, we came up with 6 requirements for designing and building a system to enable and ensure the future of space for humanity. As I walk through them a little bit, to make sure that your satellite fundamentally is smaller and lower mass and has nothing that will explode on it. Virtually every satellite right now is like a time bomb. If it gets hit because you're colliding at 17,500 miles an hour, if it gets hit, it explodes into many pieces. Those pieces then go and hit other satellites. This is called a cascading collisions. So we have a patent pending capability for our satellites not only to not explode when they hit, but also to capture space debris while they're operating and to deorbit, capturing space debris and bringing it back. So this is a novel function that's a dual use capability of the satellite, one to help clean up the environment, as well as also to provide the IoT services that we're talking about. On the IoT front, we are bringing artificial intelligence and IoT together. We're designing a system to provide services to billions of devices around the globe and enable our partners, the integrators, the telecom operators, the developers, to build unique and capable applications that will work for hyperscale IoT, for bringing services to places and locations that they never thought of. Today, generally, IoT is limited to the physical footprint or the RF footprint of the cellular providers. And even then, it's spotty. It doesn't exist outside of their footprint, and within the area of their footprint, there's a lot of places where there's just dark zones. Some of the autonomous vehicle companies we work with have shown us how even in San Francisco, there's 6 or 8 large areas without coverage from any of the 3 major operators. So we're building a system to enable this. We're working closely with the Kingdom also and we announced recently that we'll be demonstrating this next year. And we're excited to be here and working with the Kingdom because they brought a really great platform for us to engage them. So eSpace, we're building 6,000 satellites. We'll be launching them in 25. We're launching our first satellites in 24, our first constellation system. So next year, so things are coming close to us. If you're working on large-scale deployments, then we'll want to stay close and talk in the near future. Thank you for letting me speak.